William Saliba is going to extend at Arsenal. Yes, people, and welcome back to another Arsenal news video. As always, if you love being up to date with Arsenal news, this is the place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below on my road to 3,000 subscribers and let me know your thoughts on William Saliba's potential decision to re-sign at Arsenal for the coming years. I absolutely love it. Let's get straight into the tweet by Fabrizio Romano this morning. Understand Arsenal advancing in talks to extend William Saliba's contract. New round of talks has been scheduled and will take place in the next hours. All parties are confident to reach an agreement. Not done yet, but getting closer. And this is really good news for Arsenal fans because the William Saliba contract situation just kind of been a cloud above everyone's head over what's been a really good season and what we expect to hopefully be a really good transfer window. Everyone wants Saliba to re-sign. We understand how important he is. When he had his injury towards the back end of last season, that coincided with Arsenal's tail off and eventually bottling the title to Man City. So he's such a big player for us. Whether he was going to re-sign or not, a lot of people had doubts. I was always confident. I said, look, Saka's going to re-sign, Martinelli's going to re-sign, and Saliba's going to re-sign. I remember producing videos throughout this year on this page saying, look, guys, all three will re-sign. I'm confident of it. Martinelli's done. Saka's done. The last piece of the puzzle is William Saliba. Those are our three starlit youth players. Even Odegaard potentially could re-sign another contract as well. You know, his is still got a couple of years to run out. So yeah, if that's the three trios locked up, that is brilliant news for Arsenal, man. Because it's one thing signing players, right? But if you sell your best assets and sign players, you're just replacing, you're just going in circles. It's like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. You need to retain your assets at the same time as signing these top players. And trust me when I tell you, William Saliba is Arsenal's biggest asset. If you ask proper Arsenal fans, real Arsenal fans, right, that watch the games week in, week out, who's our most important player? A lot of people would say William Saliba. That's who I would say. More than Saka, more than Martinelli for me, more than Odegaard. These are important players, but William Saliba is that rock in defence. He's so good. He doesn't have one attribute that he lacks as a defender. As a young defender as well, he's got the strength, he's got the height, he's got the speed, he's got the composure, he can play out from the back. Everything about him is brilliant, and I'm so glad that he decided to resign. As I said, he would. Genuinely, I don't see why he wouldn't. To be fair, we're fighting for the title. Hopefully, again next season, we're going to be in Champions League football. The Premier League is the most lucrative place to be in. Is the most lucrative league to be in the world. You can have all the cameras on you, all the lights on you, and I think William Saliba thrives under that pressure. The only way I could see him leaving is if Real Madrid wanted him. Because I have to be honest, guys, no matter how big the Premier League is, no matter how big Arsenal is, right? Real Madrid have got that different pull to Arsenal. And every player dreams going to Real Madrid or Barcelona at one point in their life. So if Real Madrid came knocking, I could see that deal potentially materializing. But PSG, nah, man. Like, Arsenal is a more attractive proposition than Paris Saint-Germain. I'm going to be completely honest about it. The only thing Paris Saint-Germain have over Arsenal is consistent Champions League football. You're guaranteed a trophy because Ligue 1 is a farmers league. And they're going to pay you more money. That is it. I know they're three big components, right? But if you genuinely care about your football and genuinely care about being tested in a competitive league and being part of a project and having a more like satisfying season at Arsenal where you can potentially win the title and it'll be amazing. It'll be like the biggest parade in all of London. Then you'd stay at Arsenal, right? You'd stay at Arsenal. So I can see that happening. Now, a lot of people are saying Saliba potentially wanted to leave and there was an agreement and there hasn't been an agreement on terms of the contract terms with Saliba's party wanting 250 or 200,000, Arsenal not willing to meet that. This is what I say to that, right? At some point, Arsenal have to operate like a big club. That's what I believe. Because it's one thing wanting to keep Saka, wanting to keep Martinelli, Odegaard, Saliba. As I want to keep all those players, and I'm sure Arsenal do, right? But you can't bend over backwards for certain players. You have to have some kind of morals and have some kind of baseline, like dignity. Do you get what I mean? It's like being in a relationship, right? You might love your partner, but you got to have some kind of standards that you can't dip below. Because then you're going to let them walk all over you. And I feel like Arsenal need to have some kind of standards in negotiations. I feel like they've dipped in previous seasons. When it came to Mesut Ozil, right? Everyone was like, we want him to resign, give him the contract, give him the money, give him 350 grand a week. What did he do after that contract? Genuinely, what did he do? Absolutely nothing. I remember saying at the time, don't give him that much money, man. Don't. Same with Aubameyang. Won us the FA Cup. Everyone was saying, resign Aubameyang, resign. Give him 300 grand. What did he do? Absolutely nothing. We sold him in the next 16 to 18 months. Do you get what I mean? So you got to look at it sometimes and go, we want to keep the player, we want to keep you, but this is what we're offering. No player is bigger than the football club. Genuinely, that's what it is. So Fabrizio Romano in his tweet is saying that the parties are nearing their confidence to reach an agreement, which makes me believe that both Arsenal and both William Saliba's party want to find an agreement and the player wants to stay at Arsenal. Not done yet, but getting closer. But the fact it's taken this long, and the fact it says new round of talks, it's not the initial round, it's a new round of talks, may seem like there's a discrepancy on the wages and kind of the wage structure or bonuses or something like that. Look, Arsenal needs to start operating like a big club. I need to start operating a system where if a player wants to go or a player's not meeting the demands of the club, you let him go. Something like how Man City and Pep Guardiola operates. I have massive respect for Pep Guardiola because when a player wants to go or a player does not sign under the conditions he wants, he lets them go, man. He lets them walk. No player's bigger than the club and everyone is replaceable. Remember that. It happened with Raheem Sterling. Wanted to go. Man City didn't give him the contract demands. Goodbye, off to Chelsea. Rival, we don't care. You can go Chelsea. Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, same thing. João Cancelo was arguably Man City's best player the season before last. He wasn't getting enough game time. He was annoyed. Didn't want to stay. Pep Guardiola said, okay, go. They didn't try and convince him to stay. He might have said, okay, João, I've still got you in my plans, but if you want to go, if you want to be rude to me in training, if you want to have some disrespect, go, goodbye, go. Same with Ilkay Gundogan. Everyone's talking about how Ilkay Gundogan's a massive player for Man City. And he is. Look at the goals he scores in crunch time for them. 2 in the FA Cup final, 2 against Leeds, 2 against Everton. Big time player. Even Man City have not reached a new contract deal with him because they haven't bent over backward to give him that new contract. Not like, Gundogan, we need you to stay. Here's the money, take it, stay with us. No, they've still kept their A side in negotiations. They've still made sure that a deal is met for both parties. They're not bending over backwards to keep Gundogan at the football club. I think Arsenal need to operate in that same sense, man. Have a bit of dignity, have a bit of like stature about you as a club. Arsenal's a massive football club. We're the 3rd biggest club in England, right? No player is bigger than this club. Bigger players have come and gone than William Saliba and players like that, right? So I'd love William Saliba to stay. I believe he's our most important player, right? But I don't want to see Arsenal break the bank for William Saliba. I don't operate like that. I don't operate like that for any player. Not because he's not worth the money necessarily, but because it loses your dignity. When you're appeasing a player, when you're caving into the player's demands, that's a weak side of a football club. It's a weak sign. The football club should hold all the power. Yes, you want the player to resign. Yes, you meet your mutual grounds that if the player does resign, he resigns for a wage that he's happy with and he feels like is worth his amount and worth what he's putting into the games and what he's contributing to the football club. But at the same time, you can't go into negotiations, right, just giving the player what he wants. That's a very weak sign. And history has led us to believe that when it does happen, players don't actually end, their output actually decreases. For example, Aubameyang. For example, Mesut Ozil in the history of Arsenal Football Club. So I want William Saliba to resign. The talks from Fabrizio Romano, his tweet, is a good sign. It's a good sign that we're reaching a conclusion. As I said throughout, I do believe William Saliba will resign at Arsenal and extend his contract. But who knows, man. I do want to see this happen, but I don't want to see Arsenal break the bank for him because every player is replaceable. Don't forget that, guys, man. I've seen so many people on Twitter saying, no, we can't lose Saka. No, we can't lose Saliba. Every player is replaceable, man. I've got an affinity to all these players. I do, but I'm not conjoined with them at the hip. They're not players that are bigger than the football club. I understand that every player is replaceable. If Arsenal lose Saka, we will move on. If Arsenal lose Saliba, we will move on from it. Do you get what I mean? But yeah, William Saliba to Arsenal potentially could happen. I'm really excited by it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on Saliba to Arsenal. Do you want to see it happen? Do you not really care? Let me know in the comment section. In terms of Arsenal transfer news, I do expect Arsenal to make a move for Declan Rice imminently. I mean, it's been talks for a while now, but it's about damn time Arsenal make that move and make that first bid so we can get that deal over the line. But yeah, I've been Wifey. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. If you love Arsenal-related transfer news and news in general, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Take care.